Hello, everyone, and welcome to Social Circle. It all starts with you. My name is Arnav,
I'm Anirudh.
and I'm here with a tech genie, Anirudh. We are talking about a very important and interesting topic, which is connecting with AI, human edition. AI is everywhere, and how much control can we give to the AI, or what is going to happen in the future? It's a big debatable topic, and I want to hear your perspective, Anirudh.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, thank you for having me. I'm not a tech genie yet. There are people who are way, way, way smarter than me, so I'm just kidding. I'm just getting started. And regarding giving AI control, I think in a personal aspect, I think we do. From an organizational aspect, we don't. Probably in the future, we might. By the looks of things, we might. On a personal basis, we give a lot of decision-making weightage to what AI says. Yes, it is good at collecting data. It is good at giving good conclusions based on data. But AI should never be a substitute for taking decisions on your own, and you should never replace critical thinking with AI. And I think that's a very good thing which people should do is think for themselves instead of letting AI think for them.
I think that's a great point, and where the future is heading to comes with a lot of complexity in the knowledge or what type of information is there out for people to understand. What would you like to talk when we are uh, discussing about AI in general, like how it was formulated,
Hmm.
what was the backstory?
Okay,
Because
okay.
past is important. So, would you like to share a little bit about the growth and evolution of it? This thing.
Yeah, certainly. So if we are to understand the future or how the future will go, whether we will become a matrix-like civilization, we need to understand the past on where it all started. And I think we need to go back to 1950, where it all began. So AI is not new. AI is not new, definitely not. Isaac Asimov wrote I, Robot sometime in the 1980s, and that's pretty old. 1980s old. So um, the AI, the conception of AI started in 1950, where people were just giving instructions or writing programs like if user says X, if this says Y, do Z. So that's where the idea of AI started. And then it wasn't scalable in an organizational level, so they shelved it. And then the project was shelved for a long time until 1980, where they revived it with something called backpropagation. Backpropagation is essentially what? It's just mathematics where output can be fixed after the output is given. So that's what backpropagation is. So that revived the idea of AI. And before AI came something called machine learning. And then machine learning is basically the predecessor to AI, and it's mathematics. In case nobody knew, it's not magic; it's mathematics. And so after back propagation, you had a lot of advances in AI. In 1990s, you had a lot of mathematical classifications. You have um, a cubic spline is one such thing where it did not. It is older. It is something called curve fitting. Machine learning essentially is curve fitting in a fancier words, right? So you have a lot of data. You need to model that data in a statistical way, and you need to fit them in a curve where you can predict the next data. So if you have enough data to fit them in a curve, you can, with a very high confidence, predict what's going to come next, and that's basically what machine learning is. And that's also that started somewhere in the 1990s, and then after that in 2006 deep learning was revived, and deep learning gave birth to neural networks, CNNs, RNNs, etc., etc. And then that just continued. We had a lot of classifiers. We had sentiment analysis. We had quite a lot of classifiers. And then in 2018, we had something called attention is all you need, and that paper redefined what we use currently. And then they had two types of classifiers called BERT and GPT. GPT is something we use. BERT is also something we use. BERT reads the whole sentence from the start to the end, from the start and end, so it converges to the middle. So it is good for reasoning. It's faster, and GPT reads from left to right. So that's also one point where people exploit GPT using other languages like If you use Russian on ChatGPT, it will probably give you a more detailed answer than you use if you use English.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does. It does. You have a lot of exploits with, for example, if languages go from right to left, it could also confuse ChatGPT, and you can essentially jailbreak ChatGPT using that. But they are patching it. They are
Oh,
patching it.
so I think few languages have disadvantages in this case, right?
Well, advantages if you look at another
Oh,
perspective.
yeah. Depends where you are from,
Exactly. And
but
what do you want?
what you are looking for. What about the personal touch? A lot of people think of sharing whatever information they have so that they can get a like personal assistant or something which can help them with their day-to-day activities. For example, if I want to improve my resume, I can just put that resume in and it will help me make a quicker version of it. Like, to be honest, it's making a decision for your personal life more and more. And sometimes people use it for personal decision. Sometimes they're using just as a search engine,
Yeah.
which is more obvious. I think it is lack of accessibility at the moment, but at the same time, it's a gold rush phase. A lot of models coming up, a lot of things happening, and I'm really curious what level of personal information should we share with these models, and what are the different types of models.
and
I
I
think it's a
decided that
little bit
I
complex
want
compound type
to
of
die.
question for you.
Yeah, it's all right. Nothing unanswerable. So, when you start with giving personal data to AI, right? There are levels of personal data. For example, if you give your occupational data, if you give your LinkedIn data, say that's essentially a resume. That's AI can crawl that. AI can crawl that in your LinkedIn already, so you don't have to worry about that. Giving that to AI because at the end of the day, it can collect a lot of data and it can give you a better informed suggestion. Advice given is not advice taken. That's also one thing, and it can give you a suggestion where you can actually use it to make an informed decision
Hmm.
that you must take um, based on the data that AI gives you. So you have that, but giving AI your personal data, that's not really something which I would advise. Personal data can include your passwords, your sensitive documents, your what else? Your pictures, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend giving that. I wouldn't recommend taking a photo of something and asking if that mole is dangerous or not, no matter where it is located. It's. I wouldn't advise giving that because at the end of the day, do you trust AI companies to keep your data safe in the cloud? I don't. I'm not. But a lot of people give their personal data to AI. A lot of people openly connect their computers to AI. For example, we had the OpenClaw, which is some AI model which runs locally. We can connect APIs to it, so the computation goes to the cloud, and it essentially manages your computer. But the data stays in cloud, and if the data stays in cloud, you're not in control of your data. And yeah, yes, privacy is optional at this day and age because let's face it, nobody is private, truly,
Oh,
truly.
yes.
So it doesn't matter how much gates you put, you're not as private as you think. Can you become private? Yes. It will involve a lot of work from your side. It'll probably you'll have to use Linux.
From us having a surveillance device like our mobile phones,
Hmm.
everyone is using it. People can't live without their phones. So privacy is something which is very hard. You are getting tracked, your information is stored. But yes, for indecisive people, go for it. I'm just joking, by the way. We should all understand the importance. And thanks for sharing all these qualitative aspects because people are unaware of what's happening. And these model changes, everything is so freaking fast. Like it is out of our hand and out of our control.
Yeah,
So would you like to touch a little bit about the pace and different types of models
yeah,
happening?
of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure. So, I mean, like we have a lot of models that we use day to day, like Gemini. I don't know who uses that. ChatGPT, Claude, and we have Grok on Twitter, and then we have something called GROQ. That's something else, not to be confused with GROK, which is the one on Twitter. But we have a lot of models that we use day to day, and we have we have different types of models. Closed source, which is the ChatGPT's models, closed source. Claude is closed source. We have open source models and open weight models, not to be confused. Open weight models doesn't to explain them in plain words is I give you a cake, you sprinkle stuff on it. That's called open weight models. I give you the cake and the recipe to make that particular cake. That's called the open source model. So two different things. And then in those models, it doesn't end here. In those models, you have something called parameters, and you have parameters ranging from a few million to a trillion. That's the scale of parameters. So you have parameters from 250 million parameter models, a billion, a 40 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion, a trillion, 5 trillion, 1.3 trillion, etc., etc. I think Claude Sonnet 4.5 uses a trillion parameters, and Opus uses 5 trillion parameters. What these parameters are is AI is trained on a lot of data. You give a lot of data to it. You give a lot of books to it. I don't want to talk about books. That's a controversial point at this time. So you give a lot of data to it, and it makes decisions based on your data, right? So those decisions can either be wrong or right. You tune them to be right. Those things are called parameters. The more parameters you have, the better capable your AI is. At least that's the industry norm. That is the industry norm currently, and it is changing. You also have the total parameter models and then active parameters. That's also one more thing which is currently the answer to a lot of pitfalls that AI has. Um, and you have parameters. The more parameters AI has, the bigger the AI model is. So a trillion parameters model is, I think, about 250 gigabytes in size.
Okay.
And 4 trillion, 8 trillion, 8 billion parameter models. I think I'm running one in my computer. It's, I think, 6 gigabytes, which is not a lot.
Okay. So maybe the parameters, if I talk in baking words, is more like ingredients. What ingredients you are putting in into it. For example, if I want to bake a really amazing cake and I have good dark chocolate that I'm using, good flour quality, and I'm baking a cake, then it would be a delicious cake. But if I'm using bad ingredients, that cake wouldn't taste as good as I want. So it's the models are more of the like of parameters that are fed in that particular model.
You could say that.
But there is a cutoff date for like the information parameters that we are using.
Yes, yes, there are. Good point. So every single AI that we use, which is live, it has a training cutoff date. So that is the date up to which the model is updated. So, for example, I think the cutoff date for ChatGPT is I think January 2026, the current one, or the new one 5.6 is June 2026. So if you ask anything which happened after that, it will not. It will not, but that will be probably false because it's hallucination. So to combat that, you have many ways, right? So one such way is connecting internet directly to it, so it can do a live search and then give you an informed answer. Or you have something called RAG and CAG. RAG is retrieval augmented generation, and CAG is cache augmented generation. So consider RAG like looking up a dictionary before answering something.
Okay.
So you ask me a question. I don't know the answer to it. Let's say I have an encyclopedia. Encyclopedia is something which we forgot. I look it up and I answer you based on my understanding of it. That's called RAG. And CAG is I'll ask you the question. I'll give you everything that you need while you are looking for the answer, and then you can use the information that you have, and then the information that I gave you to give me an answer. That's basically what CAG is.
Okay, so you're like taking information from so many parameters. It's like, even to be honest, I have an encyclopedia, but I don't usually use it that much. It's such a hassle. Like I'm using Google more to get my source of information. I don't know if it is a good way to suggest others. There's a big topic about energy consumption, like you just said, and people were speculating that data centers are opening crazy left or right. So many things are happening, and it consumes a lot of energy. What do you want to talk about this? because if we are having local components, we need better hardware.
Yeah.
And if we are taking support from cloud, that's a completely different story. So is it consuming more energy? Is it using a lot of resources? How close are we to the matrix?
What is he doing?
He's beginning
I
to.
wouldn't. I don't want to be closer to the matrix. Let me tell you that. If you have a local model, theoretically, you can run it in a totally green environment where you can connect solar panels to your grid, and then store them in a battery and use that to power your system that runs your local AI. So the energy that you use is essentially green. But data centers don't really function that way. They take our energy and our water, and yeah, that's not really good. And the that also ties into the hardware crisis. Like every single gaming, like it is affecting not only gamers but consumers a lot more. We are coming back to 4 gigabytes of RAMs in a laptop. We are like evolving backwards, and RAM prices are out of the moon now. And we also have the data centers now because data centers use something called DRAM for the quick access of resources. They are holding RAMs, GPUs, and now processors are going to be in a shortage. Um, a lot of companies are restructuring their factories to produce silicon chips to get money from data centers, and all this is making people hate on AI. But the point is, AI is a good technology that we can use. It is the company's greed that is fueling this hatred. AI is going to happen at the end of the day.
True.
And the other point is, we also have it is time we focus on fixing the software and improving the efficiency of generation of tokens rather than focusing on better hardware. Better hardware will always be a bottleneck, but the more efficient the software is, the better we'll be able to use it on edge devices.
I agree. And would you like to elaborate a little on edge computing and edge devices?
Yeah. So edge AI is the local AI that we are talking all this time. So um, if you want to have a model for yourself, and which you can actually freely feed your private data to it, and you can actually use your passwords into it. It is actually held by yourself, and it is being held locally, and that's called edge AI. And I think that's where the next evolution of AI should go towards. It's
Mm,
making AI more accessible to everybody. And that's one way of doing that is how the companies are doing it right now in a cloud, getting everybody used to AI. But everybody should become more educated so that they will be able to have their own AI models. So they don't have to rely on clouds anymore, and they don't have to give their private data to clouds. Because I wouldn't trust anybody else storing my private data. It's not that I have a lot of private data. I do have a lot of pictures, but that's not the point.
Thanks for telling not to upload your pictures on the AI, personal ones especially. But that's a very interesting topic. A lot of movement happening. Australia is fortunate in few things like green technology, green energy, because we do get a lot of sun. If our local computers can consume solar powered energy and we can have local AI systems that can have good privacy within our
What do
homes,
you mean by that?
I think that's fantastic. But at the same time, we are working on a lot of data centers, and that's like counterintuitive. Like it's using a lot of electricity. At the end, all the natural resources as well. It is using, as you said, material crisis is happening,
Yeah.
hardware crisis is happening. So yes, like there is a good balance of things. Definitely, people always are attracted towards convenience. So if they are getting something easier or something is solving their problems easily, they would end up doing that rather than going the hard way. So just like that, AI will happen. There is no stopping because it is very convenient. It is growing at a very fast pace. A lot of agents, a lot of things happening in this field. And yes, like what do you think is the next stage of like what is the next thing which is going to happen for this?
So one thing that we humans are really good at is evolution. we had a lot of new technologies that come in and that has replaced people. And uh, it created more jobs than taking away more jobs. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen to AI. It will take time. And right now, the way that the companies are operating is there's a lot of money in this bubble, and a lot of money is went into this bubble. So it is looking quite concerning. And the fact that they have to use fresh water, and that is also quite concerning, because with the amount of technology and the amount of advances that we have, we should be able to figure out a way to actually not use fresh water, but actually repurpose salt water or seawater, something which we have a lot of, not something which we have less of. Like 3% of world has just fresh water, and then the rest 97% is seawater.
Yeah.
We need to focus on having fresh water for human beings, and Australia is drought prone. Areas of Australia is extremely drought prone,
Agreed.
and it's not good. And even data centers which is coming to India, it's not a very blessed country with water.
Oh, definitely.
So using fresh water for something which is a late stage capitalist's dream is not really good for the environment or for human beings as a whole.
Completely agree. It's a long topic. It's a very big topic and interesting one. I think as people in different professions will see how AI is getting involved, and it's really great to know about these things happening, about Gen AI, technology stacking. We talked a lot about the models, like the Gen AI models, and then we also discussed a lot on the space, like how the history of AI completely changed the landscape. And at the end, we also listed about Edge AI, which is like a very fascinating way of controlling the privacy and also the local aspect of it, which will just improve the speed and
Yeah.
efficiency of the technology. And I hope you guys got a lot of information from our podcast today. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. Please give us a comment. Let us know what type of topics you would like to hear next, and together we can make a big social circle.
Alrighty, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
New face filters on Instagram today. This is my favorite one so far. Nice job, team.